Maryland could become the 8th state in the country to give dying patients the power to determine when their lives will end. The Aid in Dying bill, also referred to as assisted suicide, would apply to terminally ill people whose doctors say they have less than 6 months to live. A patient would have to make 3 requests, both oral and written, to end his or her life, with waiting periods and the ability to rescind the request at any time. Maryland is one of dozens of states that have introduced this kind of legislation since the highly publicized assisted suicide of Brittany Maynard. In 2014, the 29-year-old California woman who had terminal brain cancer moved to Oregon to legally end her life, which sparked a national debate.
I think sometimes people look at me and they think, well, you don't look as sick as you say that you are. Which hurts to hear, because when I'm having a seizure and I can't speak afterwards, I certainly feel as sick as I am.
In addition to Washington, D.C., patients have the option to legally end their lives in California, Colorado, Hawaii, Montana, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington state. Similar bills have failed in the Annapolis legislature in the past. In recent years, public support for the measure has grown amongst Marylanders who favor allowing doctors to prescribe a lethal dose of medicine to terminally ill patients. While supporters believe the measure is a compassionate option for patients seeking to end their suffering, critics say they think low-income, elderly, and disabled communities could be coerced into ending their own lives. The Catholic Church calls the legislation dangerously flawed. Maryland lawmakers emotionally described their experiences seeing a family member suffer with a terminal illness to describe their support or opposition for the bill.
My mother was diagnosed with stage 3B esophageal cancer. Despite the best efforts of her doctors, the pain became unmanageable. A few days before she died, I walked into the kitchen and she had taken the bottle of liquid morphine that had been prescribed to her, and she tried to drink it to end it. Reflecting on that, despite my personal hatred for suicide, I began to ask myself what right I had as a government official, and even as her son, to dictate to her how her life should end.
What she went through was hell to get out of that deadly terminal disease called cancer, but she survived. And I wonder if that option had been there, might she had taken that option, and might have we had lost the additional 9 years of her life.
If both chambers passed the bill, it would go to Governor Larry Hogan, who could choose to sign it, veto it, or allow it to become law without his signature.
The governor, I suspect, has told us that he will look at he hasn't made a decision, and that he'll look at the merits of the bill. I hope that he takes the same approach as Jerry Brown did in California. When he signed it, he said, look, I'm a devout Catholic. I don't know if I would ever avail myself of this option, but I couldn't withhold it from others. And I thought that was a pretty profound statement for him to make, given his background. And I hope that Larry Hogan takes a similar stance.
If passed, Maryland would become the southernmost state to adopt a right-to-die law.